Hi there. I am back in our classroom, and in our book by Todd Parr about loving the world and loving yourself, we were looking at the pictures to see if they matched the words. And that is important in stories, and it's also important in nonfiction. Nonfiction gives us facts and information about real things. So, this is a book about the five senses that I wanted to do a little bit of a picture walk through this book to see if the pictures match the words because that is important in fiction, stories that are make believe, and that is important in nonfiction that tells us about real things, information that we are learning. And this book also has its table of contents here that tells us what chapter talks about each thing. We want to learn about seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and touching, all the five senses. So if we wanted to find out about seeing, we would look right here where it says see, and our table of contents tells us to go to page 10. So let's do that. Let's go to page 10 and see if the pictures match the sense of sight. Well, this little girl is getting an eye exam, and she goes to an eye doctor called an optometrist. So that does match sight and seeing. Now, this might not look like it matches the sense of sight, but I'll explain what the pictures mean, and then you can tell me, is this about sight? Thumbs up, or is it not? So this man is blind, so he has a guide dog to help him get where he needs to be because he cannot see. And this is a language that can be used for books for people who are not able to see, and it is called Braille. It says people who cannot see are blind. People who are blind usually have special help to get around and relate to the world. Some blind people use walking sticks to help them feel the ground and what's around them. Some use guide dogs, which are trained to keep their owners safe. Blind people are able to read through the use of Braille, a type of writing made with raised bumps that can be read with the fingertips so they can feel the words. And that is a picture that I think matches what they're talking about. They talked about people using guide dogs, and they talked about Braille. So that matches. They showed the pictures. Now, this uses one of the senses that it's showing. Think in those smart brains of yours. Here's his smart brain. What sense are they talking about in these pictures? Is it the sense of smell? Are they talking about the nose? Is it the sense of touch? Are they talking about hands? I don't think so. Now the pictures are supposed to match the words, so let me see if these match. Diagram of the eye. Yeah, and then there's the drawing of the eye. This talks about eyes and seeing. Does that match? Awesome. So let's see. Which sense do you think these pages are about? There are some hints. There are all kinds of things that are loud. And then this says a hearing aid can be worn inside the ear. You guessed it, these pages are about hearing. What are these pages about? Which of those senses? You guessed it, still hearing. And this shows you a diagram of the ear and the parts of the ear. This says, to see how the outer ear helps to gather sounds, try this. Cup your hands around the backs of your ears. Listen. Notice how sounds seem louder. Your hands are making the auricle bigger so more sounds can be gathered. I'm going to try that. I can really hear the air conditioner now. I couldn't hear that before. I learn lots of information from nonfiction books, so I love to read those in our class as much as I love to read stories. Thank you so much for talking about fiction, which is stories that are make-believe, and nonfiction, which tells us about real things, information, and facts found in books. And thank you for doing a picture walk through this book called The Five Senses by Jennifer Pryor so that we could look at the pictures and see what a good job they do of matching the words, because pictures and words match in stories, or they're supposed to, and pictures and words are supposed to match in nonfiction, in informational books. Thanks, guys. Bye.